Yeah, John. Real simple. Why do you tell your Broncos country why you think your team will be better this year?
You want everything right from the very beginning, huh? I think we had a great offseason. I think the people that we added through the draft will help us. Obviously, in free agency, we're a better football team. We have some better depth. I think Case is a big part of that, and the veteran leadership that we needed at that position. So feel good about that. Now, obviously, we have to all come together, especially on the offensive side. It's about getting continuity in the offensive line, as well as the young wide receivers getting up to speed, as well as the young running back. So, offensively, I'm excited about it, especially with Case pulling the trigger and where we are there. But again, we have to, we had a good off season, but obviously we got to pull it together in the regular in training camp. Defensively, we've added some people there in the draft with Chubb coming in. I think that interior with McDonald, we think he's going to be healthy, and Walker having a year under his belt inside to get some pass rush inside. I think Roby's ready to step up, be a starter at corner. Tremaine Brock will come in, be the third right now, but we got some good competition at corners. Safeties, we got some veterans, and so I think it's an opportunity for us defensively to get better. We're still a good football team defensively, but I think with the standards that we've set, that we have set for ourselves, that we can be better on the defensive side. So, and we've got the ability to get better there. So, special teams wise, I think we're going to be, a lot better there. Obviously, with the people that we have there, that Tom McMahon coming in as a special teams coach, got a great deal of experience and had a tremendous offseason. So, I think the concentration will be much better there, and we can win some games on special teams rather than lose the games like we did a couple times last year.
John, following up on that, you talked about last year with Vance, he was kind of drinking through a fire hose as a first-time coach. What have you seen from him that makes you believe he'll be better second year, and how much will his staff play into perhaps helping him be better in year two?
Well, I think there's no question that first year going through as a head coach, you think what might be involved being a head coach, but I think once you get in the middle of it and go through it, then I think you understood what it took to be that head coach. And so, I think, we're looking into this year. Vance will use those experiences that he had from last year. The staff, he's added some quality people to his staff, and I think we'll help him there. But also, Vance is going to take the reins. And I think that, with that year under his belt and his experience that he's had before that, I've got full confidence that he'll take a hold of those reins and know it's his show and go from there.
Hey, John, you mentioned Case earlier. You've been around him for a couple months now. What do you like about the way he does his work?
I think that, he's a hard worker. He's a guy that, is a smart guy that's been around, understands it. But also, to me, I think the confidence that he brings in is going to be tremendous at that position. And to be able to provide the confidence and his teammates that we're going to be good at that position, and he'll be good at that position. Be able to, make the plays that need to be made, and also, be smart with the football. And so, he's got that veteran savvy, and I think that having somebody in that position will be a tremendous boost for us this year. And Case obviously going to fill that.
John, while you have a lot of experience, or not a lot of experience, but a lot of talent in the tight end room, running back room, and then you look at two really young wide receivers that you drafted, with all of those rooms, how concerned are you that you have guys that have almost no experience to guys who've never even played, and you're really going to be counting on them?
Well, I would tell you this. At this point in time, when we come into camp, I'm excited about getting into camp. I don't really have concerns about – we have to go see what they can do. And, I'm not going to concern myself. We did the best we could to put the best 90 guys together to come into training camp with the best coaching staff, to be able to come here and feel like it gives us the best chance to be successful. Now, obviously, our work's not done. We'll continue to work the waiver wire. But the young guys, they're going to have to step up. We're going to have to rely on some of those young guys, but also we're going to need that veteran leadership too. So, we were just talking about it, going over, looking at the roster. There's always something. And so we're always trying to get everything solved, and you're either young here or we have a hole there. So it's always a moving target. We're always trying to take care of it. We've got some youth in a lot of areas, like you said, but we think we have some maturity at that level where they can come in and help us. But it's going to take time. I don't have any expectations of those young guys coming in and being all pro the first day of camp. Or all pro in the first game, for that matter. It's going to take some time, and mentally they have to take that step. And it always takes time, and it goes at different speeds with different guys.
Well, you're a guy who doesn't want to take time. You want to win now.
Well, we still plan on doing that. So, I think that we got to make the strides that we made, and have high expectations. We always do. I think that if you don't, then, if you're planning for down the road, then you should probably be in a different profession. I think, every time you come to the NFL and feel like we can compete and put things together and work together as a team, then we have a chance to be competitive.
What do you need to see out of Paxton Lynch in training camp and beyond just to give you that confidence that he can be a reliable backup or starter in the future in this league?
We got to get him to stay healthy. He wasn't healthy last year. So, I think that, plus he's been in this system now, and it's not going to be a system that's going to be changing. And so we still have confidence in Paxton that he'll continue to make strides. He had a good offseason, and think that, he still has the ability to play in this league. So it'll be a good competition at 2 and 3, with Chad coming in and competing, and we'll see where that falls. But I think number one is get Paxton some playing time, but also have confidence that to get him ready to play. We talk about who's going to be the second quarterback. I'm not worried about who the second quarterback is or the backup quarterback. I'm worried about finding a quarterback that if something were to happen, knock on wood, that we have a guy that can come in and help us win football games, whoever that is. So it's not about who the backup is. It's about that backup having the ability to come in and win football games for us.
Hey, John, do you think your 2 rookie wide receiver draft picks can not only take some pressure off of DT and Emmanuel, but maybe try some and push them to be better?
Well, I think that everybody's kind of, as you look at the wide receiver group, it's, we feel pretty good about it, especially with the young guys and DT and Emmanuel, they're veterans that work hard, and we have high expectations. They have high expectations of themselves. And so, everybody, I believe, wants to have a much better year than we had last year, and last year was a long year. So not to be able to, not to have to experience that, and to come in and play like we're capable of. So obviously, I think they've got to have confidence in Case and the fact that we're better at the quarterback position, what gives them a chance to be more successful, and we'll come in and be the leaders that we need them to be.
Hi, John. Will you guys have your own independent policy regarding the national anthem, and how will that be addressed with the full?
Joe's already addressed that with the team, and so we're going to leave it at that for now. Obviously, with the league and where they are, but Joe's addressed that already, and with the team, and so we're going to leave it with that.
Hey, John. How would you define a successful season for this year?
I'm not going to put a number on it. I think that I want us to take strides from where we were last year. Obviously, there's some games we weren't competitive in, and so it was a difficult year. But I think that for us to make the strides and know what our goals are, and obviously we want to make the playoffs and be able to compete for world championships. And so this is a first step back after a tough season, but there's no reason why, in my opinion, we can't come back and compete for that.
John, you said a minute ago you don't expect rookies necessarily to be all pros from day one. Would Chubb be at least a slight exception to that?
Well, I think he's going to come in. Obviously, at that position, he's still got a lot to learn. He's going to come in and help us. I think he'll be a guy that gets better and better as the year goes on. He hasn't had pads on, yet, and obviously it's a big jump from college to the NFL. So, we think he's going to be a very good football player, not a great football player for a long time. But there's always that learning curve, and everybody learns at different times, in different speeds. And so, Shaq and then Shane coming back at the end, we've got a lot of guys that we can run through there to rush the passer. So, I think that, he's a guy, though, that, can come in and help us right away.
John, I know you said you're not going to put a number on it, but with having missed the postseason the past 2 years, in your mind, is the idea of missing it for a third season, is that in any way acceptable?
Well, I've not thought about not making it. So therefore, I think, obviously we're talking about where this may go. I'm excited about the 90 guys that we have coming into camp. I'm excited about the coaching staff that we put together, that Vance has put together. So, I feel good about where we are. Now, obviously, there's always things that have to break your way. You have to play well, and, you have to have some unexpected good things happen and try to avoid the unexpected bad things. And so, but I feel good about the fact of where we are and our chances to be able to compete.
It's been a while and a lot has happened in the offseason. I want to ask you, with everything that happened in terms of ownership and Beth Boland speaking out, why did you feel you wanted to weigh in on the ownership situation? Because I know you haven't really done that in the past.
Well, and I will say this, I have a great respect for the Bolands, and they've been part of my life since I've been here. So, and as well as Joe, and Joe's been in and out. But I work for Joe, and I will tell you this: I've got no worries about what's going on with ownership. I've got zero, and I don't know, and it's not going to affect our football team, and that will get handled. And Mr. Boland put a plan in place and wanted the trust to execute it. So in my opinion, I've got total confidence in the fact that that's going to happen the way that Mr. B wanted it to happen, and the people on the trust know Mr. Boland very well and what he wanted. And so I will just tell you, I've got zero heartburn when it comes down to what's going on with the ownership, and because it's not going to affect what we do on the field. And I also know that whatever happens there, they're also always going to put the football team first, because that's what Mr. Boland wanted and would want. And so, therefore, I've got no worries about what's going on in ownership. And, they've been very supportive. Joe has been tremendous to me in my position, and the support that they've given us to be able to try to put the best football team on the field has been tremendous. And so that's why I'm just telling you, I don't worry about ownership at all. I mean, I really don't. And I think that, the plan that is in place will get executed, and it will work out the way it's meant to work out.
Time for a few more, Zach.
John, when it comes to the running back room, what's your ideal? How does that room ideally come together? Do you want to see one guy run away with it, a team effort there?
I think we have enough good backs that we can go by. Everybody can carry the football, and so I think that obviously we've got some youth in that room, a lot of youth in that room, and so we'll see how it pans out. Ideally, everybody'd like to have a workhorse that's going to play 3 downs and do everything for you, but that's a tough. They're tough to find unless the top 5 pick in the draft. And so, we've got a lot of good young running backs that I think can all help us. And so that will all play out, and that'll be something that'll be interesting to watch during training camp.
John, it's kind of been a roller coaster for Shane Ray with the wrist. What's going to be his status in terms of practicing? I guess how surprised were you to find out that he's going to be able to be cleared? And is there anybody who's going to be on PUP?
Anybody that's going to be what?
On PUP.
Let's see. I don't think we have anybody on PUP. Jordan Taylor's going on PUP, and I'm sure I might miss somebody else. But Shane's not going to. Obviously we're going to continue to treat it, and that was Shane's decision with his doctors that that's the direction he wanted to go. So, hopefully we can manage him and keep him in a position to where he can be effective for us. And so we'll just have to play that by ear.
Final 2, Troy and then Vic.
John, do you see yourself trying to be a physical team this year in terms of both defensively up front, offensively up front, running the ball more? And where does the line shake out now? Is Leary healthy? Where does that guard look?
Yeah, we think we think Ron's going to be fine, and we'll have a battle at right guard, and Valdero's will go at right tackle for now with Turner out there too. So, we've got some good competition in the offensive line. I think. With Billy and what Billy does offensively, we have a chance to have some good balance on the offensive side, what we would like. Defensively, we'd like to fly around. I think we have the ability to be able to rush the passer, especially with our outside guys, but we've got to get some pressure from the inside too. And so the inside guys got to, show up for us. Wolf's got to have a better year than he had last year. He was banged up a lot, so we're hoping that Wolf comes back and plays to the ability that he can, just by staying healthy, number one. But Gottis, we don't, nothing's changed with Gottis. He'll be going into his 3rd year and think that he'll continue to get better. So, defensively, it's we want to get back to where we're flying around, doing a lot of different things defensively, and I think, with Joe Woods having a year under his belt, calling plays will help. And because he's a very bright young coach, and so excited about what we could possibly do defensively.
Last one, Vic.
John, I know
Gary Kubiak is helping you guys
office with some of those decisions. What role will he play at all, if any, with Coach Joseph sort of mentoring him as the head coach himself?
Well, I mean, I think Vance always knows that Gary's right down the road, right down the hall, and so, you know, I would hope that, and I'm sure Vance will, having worked with Gary before, is be able to use Gary in situations that he may have some questions on. And so, I mean, because Gary's obviously been in that position. So, that, as Gary's always told me, his door's always open. And so I think that, it's a good, Gary's a good sounding board for Vance to be there. All right.